Guys, what just happened? The Lakers, everyone calm down, networks calm down. We're still going to have basketball.
Adios.
But the Lakers will not be there. T-Wolves in 5, bam, 103-96. Second straight first round exit for Los Angeles. Rudy Gobert with 27 and 24.
Say it again.
Both of those are career playoff highs. Jay Randall, that's Julius to you. 23, 5, and 4. Ant with 15, 11, and 8, but it was hilarious after the game. T-Wolves in 5. That's wild. Nobody had this. Nobody. Ant knew that. It was kind of insane. So I gotta start with you, Lou. As far as upsets in these playoffs go, is this the biggest by far?
Yeah, by far, this is the biggest upset. This is a Lakers team. A few weeks ago, we were talking about being championship contenders with the way that they were playing. They had the small ball thing figured out, had a lot of guys clicking on all cylinders. Then they ran into a brick wall. They just became stagnant in the playoffs, didn't get over that hump. I think Minnesota did a great job of adjusting game by game, keeping things fresh, trying different looks, trying different lineups, and it worked for them, And so I think the Lakers just fell flat, didn't adjust well, didn't find any production from that bench, and it made them top heavy. And eventually those guys got tired, and that's the reason the results that we saw, that was the result of that.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I feel like usually when you see a 3 seed against a 6 seed or a 2 seed against a 7 seed, that team is heavily favored.
Yeah.
This year, the Western Conference was so stacked that, it's an upset for sure, but from the standpoint of seedings and standings, yeah, it's an upset. But look at the regular season record. The Lakers were 50 and 32, and the Timberwolves were 49 and 33.
Yeah.
So it's not like a 3 beating a 6 or a 6 beating a 3. Is that crazy? Now, it is the Lakers, and it's LeBron James, and it's Luka, and the big trade. There were more, I feel like, championship expectations for the Lakers than the Timberwolves. But we called this from RIP. Listen, we're wrong sometimes, but when we're right, we're right. This is a bad matchup for the Lakers. Their athleticism, what the Lakers do great when they go small. The Timberwolves offset that, and they do it better. We said Julius Randle had to equalize LeBron James. He did. He was fantastic. And then you had Rudy Gobert last night, who I'm actually super hyped for. He dominated. It's weird to not see this more often, but they didn't give him touches. They didn't call plays for him. They didn't give him the rock and let him eat. He was just doing all the little things. He was slipping, screening, offensive tip dunks. He was doing all the things that a 7-footer should do, playing against small forwards. So this was great. It's an upset, but it's not the craziest upset given the circumstances of the West this year and how even it was.
No, look, the fact that it was in 5, I think, is probably something
that's a little shocking.
That feels a little upsetty, I suppose. We got to stick with Rudy Gobert, and I know it pains a lot of people today to have to give the man his flowers. And you know what? I get it. That's on you. But 27 and 24, 9 of those are offensive rebounds, by the way. He sort of just was everywhere. Even if he wasn't in the shot, all of a sudden he comes out of nowhere flying. When we look back, Lou, is this going to be considered Rudy Gobert's best game?
Absolutely. And listen, the team that establishes their style of play, like when you get into a playoff series and you get to game 4, you get to game 5, everybody knows everybody's tricks, everybody knows your playbook. But the first team that established their style of play usually has success. Like, we look at the totality of what Rudy Gobert was able to do. I'm watching this game. Listen, he scores the first 4 points of this game. Then they throw it to him again. He ducks Luka in, gets an early foul on Luka. This is establishing your big man. So instead of allowing the Lakers to play small ball, now you got to play the way we want you to play. Like, we found a place for Rudy. They were able to trump the small ball. You had smaller guys. You had Hachimura guarding Rudy, and he was able to eat on the offensive glass. Now, granted, on the other end, their game plan was, well, we're going to stretch Rudy out, make him play beyond the three-point line. And Hachimura, he had some success in the three-point line because Rudy is in the paint so much. But on the other end of the floor, you can't stop him from getting offensive rebounds. He was catching lobs. He was active on the defensive end. Like, he was just a dominant presence last night in this game, and he was the difference maker.
Yeah, and you got to give Chris Finch, too, the credit because, again, we knew they were going to go small, and we knew that the Timberwolves had kind of that equalizer lineup with Naz Reid, with Julius Randle. They said, we don't even need to do that tonight. We're going to stick with our guns. We're going to play our guy and make them the ones that are the small, make them the ones that are going to get punished on the offensive glass. And that's exactly what Rudy Gobert did. So it's great to have this versatile lineup where you have these multiple options where you can go small and be great, run the floor, shoot a lot of threes. But I love the fact that he's stuck with Rudy because he's always been an elite defender. There was early on this series where he was getting blown off the dribble a little bit. Last night he made more of a conscious effort on that end. Maybe you need to get him going a little bit, get him some easy buckets because last night this was the best all-around game I've seen from Rudy, probably in his career.
I mean, first 20-point game in the playoffs since 21. That's notable.
He was playing so well, he had to go find Max Kleber and try to give him some good minutes. Like, for a guy that hadn't played yet for the Lakers, you go away from Jackson Hayes, you're trying to find somebody to match his physicality, to match his size. There was nobody out there to do that for Rudy, and that's who they needed him to be. Early on in this series, we didn't know where he fit. We thought maybe they were just going to have to play small ball. Naz Reid was going to have to play a lot of minutes, but again, when you have a guy that goes and gets 9 offensive rebounds, a double-double in a 20-20 type of game, like, you have to find minutes for him, and you make the other team adjust opposed to you. So kudos to Rudy. He did everything he was supposed to do in a closeout game.
Here's the downside of having a game like Rudy had last night. Now the rest of us are like, well, how come you're not doing this more often? Well, we want to see more of this, Rudy. What's happening? We expect it now.
Yeah, and again, this wasn't because he got touches. It wasn't because they were giving him the ball on like a, off the block post up, baby hook, fade away. Like, he was just, it was all effort. It was size, it was length, it was energy. He did all those things that he could be doing consistently all night long. So again, I know their small ball lineup is great. We didn't know how Rudy and Julius Randle would mix. Phew. There's a way now, and there's a will, and there's a blueprint for it, and we just saw it last night.
I am happy for Julius Randle. This has been very fun to watch for him. So now we got to look ahead, right? They're going to face either the Warriors or the Rockets. Time will tell who they get. Here's when I love that stats don't help us make our minds up. They're 3-3 against the Warriors this season, or 1-3 against the Warriors. They're 2-2 against the Rockets. I don't even know if that means anything to you, but do they favor one or the other?
I don't think so. I think it's a pick 'em. I think the Rockets, I think they're inexperienced. I think they'd prefer them. But again, if the Rockets go and come back and win 2 more games and beat the Warriors, that's a dangerous team. And again, this team presents so many challenges. They won a game last night missing 17 straight threes. They were 7 of 47.
Yeah, we don't even notice that.
And you don't even notice that because they play hard, they defend, they do all the little things. Ant-Man, he didn't even have the best series. He struggled last night, but he still does all those little things. He impacts winning on both sides of the ball. They're a deep team. They have wing defenders like Jay McDaniels, who, again, Luka put up his numbers. He's going to put up his numbers, but he made it hard for him. He was physical with him. His length really bothered him and made him inefficient. Austin Reeves really struggled. So just the DNA of this team, the style of play, the physicality, athleticism, that's their advantage no matter who they play going forward. And they showed it last night. They can go small, they can go big, and they have a stud in Anthony Edwards that can, make big plays.
They get a little rest too, Lou. Now they got to wait anyways.
And think about how they started this series though, Chandler and Beadle. Like, Ant-Man said, we know y'all want the Lakers to win. We're going to go out and we're going to prove different. Like, they're a confident basketball team. They don't care about their seeding. They don't care about home court advantage. They have the confidence to know that we can go out and compete and beat anybody. So that's a dangerous matchup for any team. Rockets, Warriors, Lakers, whoever. When you run into a confident team with a chip on their shoulder that has something to prove and they're motivated, they're going to be a tough out for anybody. The Lakers are the first casualty of that. So we wait and we see who's going to be the winner of this next one, but I'm excited to see what else Minnesota can do.
And you know what I like? It's a completely different game than the regular season. We've talked about this playoff basketball. This year, I feel like it's more physical than ever. It feels more personal. I feel like every series kind of had these feuds and like these beefs, and that just shows that the Timberwolves can do both. They can play up and down during the regular season, score a lot of points, but now in the half court and slowed down physical playoff series, they have dogs that can do on both. They are poised for the postseason. This team.
Anthony Edwards has been an absolute joy. He sort of led this calling of, and everyone's against us. No one gave us a shot. And after last night, did the old walk around crypto.
Incredible.
Here he is.
Ant-Man, Superman, Lakers in 5.
I mean.
All week. Hey, all the analysts said what they say? Lakers in 5. And then look, when we was up 3-1, they said Lakers in 7.
And they said it.
Go to hell today. Hey, Ty, what is it? Hey, the good guy gonna die in this movie. Hey, the good guy gonna die in this movie.
I mean, okay, I know he doesn't want to be the face, but that's really hard to argue with, the charismatic, and also, imagine being a rando fan just walking by and Ant's just talking.
I'm just doing a victory lap, Blue.
Didn't die in this movie.
Dead.
It's hilarious.
It's unbelievable. And I think more wins like this, knocking off teams like the Lakers, doing stuff like this is just, This isn't a bit. This isn't him doing this for attention. This is just him to a core, and more things like this, more, advancing and winning, for most importantly, just continues to grow the legend of Anthony Edwards. And this really made me laugh. This was incredible. It literally has his own victory lap, just talking shit to like homeless people.
With just let's go walk around real quick, make sure everybody knows.
Unbelievable. I love it.
And the smile, Lou, like he does it, he delivers it in a way you can't help but smile
you can't
yourself.
hate that.
It's kind of nuts.
It's healthy. It's healthy for the game. And that walk from Crypto back to the Ritz-Carlton, what was that? The Ritz-Carlton.
Yeah.
That walk back is legendary from now on out. Now that's Ant-Man's walk. That's his victory lap. That's his walk. But this is healthy for the game. It's great. It's competitive. It's trash talking. It's everything that we needed in the year that we said that the fans weren't interested or the game was a little stagnant. That proves to not be true in these playoffs. People are tuned in, they're watching, and Ant-Man is a big reason because of that. One of the most entertaining guys, and he's going out there and hooping, and he's moving on.
You know it's because I guarantee the Laker players saw this last night and were dying laughing. Like they weren't mad at this. They wouldn't think this was Eric. I guarantee you they thought this was hilarious.
He's the most entertaining player, right? He's got to be. If he doesn't want to be the face, he could be the most entertaining.
I don't care. He's the face.
He's kind of a face.
He is.
He's got a great smile. Like he's got everything going for him. So just
whether you want it or not, it's yours.
Sorry, it's yours. All right, let's talk a little bit of the Lakers side of things. Now, before I say any of this, just remember that LeBron's got a player option for next season. But he is now 2-12 over his last 14 playoff games. Obviously, he was asked a little bit last night about what's next. He was very non-committal.